Hey everyone, Vander, Molen here with DCTG Consulting, training and coaching, developing title companies and title sales reps all over the country. And in today's video, I want to welcome you to my TED Talk because this one is going to be a little bumpy, talking about what I call the unspoken major issue in the title insurance industry. So I was in another state a few weeks ago, coaching a great group, and I'm going through my coaching stuff, and we're talking about scripting and dialogues and prospecting and all the good stuff. And the owner of the company said, "Can I just stop you real quick and kind of get right to what our major issue is in our market?" And I said, "Sure, what is it?" And he goes, "The issue is that we target these agents and we go after certain people that we want to get business from, who we know are doing deals. And the problem is they're asking us if we pay them money after closing, right? Are we willing to give them cash payments?" And of course we're not, because we can't risk our title license, but they say, "Hey, look, the reason why we use title company A is because they pay us for the business. Not a JV, they pay us." And of course, as we all know, that's not a legal practice, right? But I can tell you this, it happens, right? Not just in that state, but in other states. So the same evening, I'm driving back home to the DC market, and I get a call from a title company owner in a different state, completely different state, and she wants to hire me to coach her title rep. And she says, "Wade, man, one of the major issues we face in our market is, we just have title companies that are giving out cash payments to agents for deals." I'm like, oh my God, like literally within 4 hours or 5 hours of each other, I have two title companies in two completely different states, two completely different markets, telling me that the biggest issue they face, or one of the biggest issues they face, is that their competitors are giving out cash payments to agents. Well, that's a problem, right? And the real issue is, and the reason why this is a problem is because there's no enforcement hardly at all. And number two, title companies most of the time, right? Not all, some, most, struggle with prospecting, value, knowing how to run their appointments, following up, actually enhancing an agent's business, creating the right value for that agent so that they actually can create more business or online visibility. They don't know how to do that. It's a lot of work to learn how to do all that, and they don't want to do it. So they cut to the finish line and say, "This is what we're going to do." Okay? And you know what? No one's been caught in our market, so we'll just keep doing it until something happens. So here's the thing. About 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, in the DC market, something did happen. Okay? There was issues happening. They weren't necessarily cash payments per se, but there was joint ventures happening that weren't necessarily on the up and up. And, these title companies admitted no guilt, right? But they were fined and they settled there, where there were some things that were happening and there were solutions that were in place for these title companies to find resolution. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, okay? So the issue is, on these underlying issues, is that because most title companies' failure to differentiate themselves in the market, right? Hey, look, we all sell the same thing, right? Whether you work at title company A, B, C, or D, right? You're all selling title insurance. It's underwritten by a handful of major underwriters. That's it, right? But of course, we all know that if I can help you rank in Google searches or create better video content or help you target market properties or help you or answer the phone at 9 o'clock at night and solve problems for you, and I'm Johnny on the spot, I might be more valuable to an agent than somebody who doesn't do any of those things, right? And unfortunately, a lot of title companies, they struggle with the second part, right? They don't know how to create that level of value, but they also know they need revenue coming through the door to keep the lights on. And especially in slower markets, slower times, in higher interest rate markets, low inventory, higher interest rate markets, they'll kind of do whatever is necessary. Unfortunately, not everybody, but a few people, the bad actors, will do what's necessary, which will corrupt the whole thing for everybody, right? And that is not a world that I want to work in. And I know that you watching this video as a title company owner or title sales rep is saying to yourself, "I don't want to compete against that." Like, that's not fun, right? That's like competing against someone who's cheating. Right? And that's not a good way, that's not a good sandbox to play in, okay? So, and at the end of the day, if you're a sales rep, right, or a sales manager and you're out in the field, a big gut punch is when you've actually taken the time to actually, hey, I know how to craft the right questions. I know how to help them with their database. I know how to help them with social media. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. And I'm armed to the teeth with really cool value propositions to really help, and it helps someone. And then when you go to that someone and say, "Hey, this is what I got, and this is what I can do to really help and enhance your business, and let's work together." And they say, "Well, that's not really that important to me. What really important to me is this thing." And you're like, what? That's not anything that I'm allowed to offer you. Okay, that is gut-wrenching, right, when that happens to somebody in the field. So the thing is, if you look at it, who are the real victims of all this? And it's not me, it's not a sales rep, it's not even an owner, right? It's the buyers and sellers that the realtors bring to the table, because these people don't know anything. They don't know that there's a back-end payment being made, right? That's honestly, it's their own money, right? Because they pay the title company and the title company's paying somebody else. Like, it just, the title company's a pass-through entity, right? So if they knew, right, what was happening, they would ask for a discount. They'd go somewhere else. They wouldn't use that agent, right, potentially. But that's what happened in DC, okay? So if you don't know, in DC a few years ago, there was enforcement, like I just said. So what happened is, and this is the solution, if you are watching this video and you're like, well, what do I do, Wade? What are next steps? Where do I go from here? Is that the title companies who were not participating in this sort of activity, they banded together. Okay, and they hired a really great law firm who specialized in real estate law, and they got as much evidence as they could. And keep in mind, this took time. This was not like 1 month, 2 months. This was like 2 years, 2.5 years. Tons of evidence. They went to the Attorney General in DC, and they provided their evidence. And the Attorney General looked at the evidence and said, I got a case here, and I'm going to go after this and pursue it. So not all states are the same, and not all local municipalities are the same. But look, if you band together and you have evidence and you bring it to your state attorney general, they might listen, and hopefully they do listen. You take it to your lobby, whatever you have, right, to let them know that, like, look, there's some things, nefarious things happening here that aren't real, that shouldn't be happening, that we don't want to compete against, and you got to take a look at it. So, that's the next step, right, is putting together that form, and also knowing that it's going to take some time to make any sort of headway, but you can make headway. So in DC, ultimately, those joint ventures were disbanded. Several companies were fined. It made the Wall Street Journals and the news. It was all over the country. You can look it up. I put a backlink in my website, in the blog. You can take a look at it, to the articles, right? But the next steps, even after that, is that if you are a great title company, you have a great sales team, you're looking to enhance that business, you're looking to really arm them to the teeth so they are truly valuable, I offer title sales coaching. I also have a 90-minute title sales training course called the Modern Playbook of Title Sales. It's on my website. There's a link in the article. You can download it. It's $399, and it will teach you everything that you need. I also offer one-on-one coaching. I've been doing this for 21 years. I've closed over $30 million in business. I've closed over $800,000 just in the first 6 months of this year, and I can help you scale and grow that business, but also teach your sales reps how to become extremely valuable to their people. So reach out. I'm Wade Vander Molen. The unspoken issue in the title insurance industry, you guys know that it's out there. It's been around for a long time, right? If we all walk the straight line and we all do the right thing, good things will happen, right? And we got to avoid things that are going to get us potentially in trouble, and also steer away from people that are going to get us in trouble, right? So focus on what you can control, which is your behaviors, your activities, your calls, your ask for business, your follow-ups, your value propositions, your willingness to learn, your work ethic, right? And if you want to have a consultation with me to learn more about how you become great at title sales, there should be a link in my video description at the bottom for a Calendly link to book time with me, or you can just reach out to me in general at wade@dctgconsulting.com, and let's